We are ready now, and 3, 2, 1.
By this time, I'd have my own boat, my own car, my own golf course.
You know what I want? Thought of this the other day. A line of blue jeans, right? With my name written on the back of chicks' asses.
How would you know, bubblehead?
This is Film Sack. Oh, sure.
Greetings and welcome to Film Sack. This is Film Sack, mining the very depths of film entertainment for all mankind, episode 660. We're going to do some. What's our 666? Have we done our 666 plan yet? Because
we've talked about
I didn't think about it.
We've come up with we had some recommendations for good demonic films, but I don't know if we've
My plan is leaving.
established one.
Also, our recent numbering is kind of more suggestioning than numbering. So.
No, that's
Right,
true.
yeah.
That's actually true. It's recent. Freaking the whole run of the show's got all kinds of wonky numbers. But anyway.
Yeah, but end of June and July has kind of thrown a wrench into the monkey works.
That's true. Well, anyway, stay tuned, everybody. 666 coming up. Although today, that's not this. My name is Scott Johnson. I'm joined today by Brian. Say hello to my average-sized friend, Dunaway.
Oh, that's kind of insulting. Oh, hi. This week on Film Sack, we pack a lunch for our noses consisting of huge baggies of white powder that has definitely crushed up baby laxatives and not illegal drugs the writer keeps in his trunk of his car, and get to work snorting this Scarface crime drama over on Netflix starring our little friend. Oh, hello. In this 1983 cult classic about a guy who is dealing with some real anger issues and lower back pain. Hey, Tony, why are you sitting like that on the couch, Tony? You're sitting like your ass is on your shoulders, Tony. No, you're the cockroacha. Hey, is your sister dating anyone besides you? Anywho, welcome to my room of excess. In the center, I have a bubble bath hot tub with cigar dispenser. And in front of that, I have my TV/security cameras /booze bar. And behind me is a place for my nagging wife to get her nails done and quote, unquote, powder her nose. And that spot right there, well, that's the spot you stand and enjoy while I berate you. Now, has anyone seen my emotional support tiger? I'm feeling lonely. Randy? A spoonful of Coke really helps the depression go down. Don't do drugs.
Yeah. The ultimate don't do drugs movie here on Film Sack. Also with us, we have Randy. He is not a big believer in hanging by helicopter Jordan.
Oh. Aloha, Scott. Brian. Thank you for coming to here, man. Sorry about that. I'm not Italian enough to pull off a Cuban accent. And I'm in good company because neither is Frank Loja. Anyway, I've called you here to plan how we're going to launder mountains of money. A good 35 years before cryptocurrency will solve that problem forever. Oh, and GPS. It's coming in about 20 years, and it's going to fix almost every logistical issue we have here in, the street pharmaceutical business. Until then, we've got to enjoy what we do have. Mainly 50 pounds of Mr. Bubble for the biggest bathtub you've ever seen, and absolutely magical women's lingerie that covers the boobs while we menfolk do the crimes. And you're going to get away with those crimes as long as you follow my 3 rules. Number 1, I guess just kill anyone who threatens your business. I mean, being at the top of a local empire is like a throne, and this is like a game of those things. You just kill everyone. Number 2, while you're killing people, don't be afraid to kill your closest friends and family. They should have seen it coming, knowing how loco you are. Number 3, apparently, you can just tell a woman who's 20 years younger than you that she belongs to you now, and she's required to love you. I think that has something to do with the cocaine, but it might just be the Miami heat cooking her brain.
Oh, yeah. And
I've moved Catwoman.
she's in here. She's moved into this movie. We have
That's
Catwoman.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Also,
So has David Logia?
Yeah, David Logia. Wait. Let's get to the third person on our list. It's Brian. I can't believe they played that She's on Fire song twice in the same movie, Ibbot.
Oh, I know. Well, they got to get their music rights in there.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into it. This song came to me even before I watched the movie, and this was my first viewing. We'll talk about that in a minute, but here you go. Scarface was filmed before a live studio audience.
Yeah. Very nice. Very, very nice. Well done. Perfect song for that, turns out. Well, everybody, if you were confused at all, Scarface is our film, and we have a fake Fletcher to explain more. I'm just going to put this out there. This model is broken. And when you hear this, you cannot but you'll have to agree. Like, I don't know what to say. Honestly, I thought last week was bad. It's almost busted entirely. Anyway, here it is. Listen to this.
Scarface! In 1980, Miami, a determined Cuban immigrant takes over a drug cartel and succumbs to greed. Take it easy.
I'm just saying.
This is going to be great
It's like
by the time we get to
he's becoming a
666.
Xerox of a Xerox. Do you feed the previous week's fake Fletcher in as the voice model for the new
Like
one
a
every
feedback.
week?
No, but that's exactly
That's
what
smart.
you would think is going on here because it's so jank now. But it's not. It's the same as it's ever been set anyway. I don't change the settings. And I just go in and I paste a new block of text in. I tell it to generate. Sometimes it's kind of normalish. That thing, that's completely, I didn't do a thing to it. Didn't change a thing, added nothing. It is completely borked. So thanks for that, fake Fletcher. And also maybe it works because it's Scarface, and Scarface is pretty weird.
Yeah, that's the AI that I'm going to be afraid of when the robots do take over. It's that one right there that I think is going to be coming back to punish all of us.
Yeah. So 11 Labs, you're patient number 1. Patient 0 is what I meant to say.
That's right.
We're going to talk about Scarface in more detail. It is one of the longest films we've ever watched. I think it's got to be up there with the record. I don't know what the record
Pretty
is.
close.
So,
Yeah.
3 hours, yeah.
Yeah. I was worried about you,
But
Dunaway.
I had my Coke. I had my Coke to keep me awake, so it's all good.
Okay. I was worried about you. I thought about you during the length of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And it started to go longer and longer, and I kept looking
Yeah.
at the running time, and I went, is Dunaway going to be all right? Is he going to make it
But,
through?
so, listeners, I have a pretty tight schedule, as we all do. But during certain times of the year, the family, the band practice and that kind of stuff, all kinds of makes it super tight. But not this week. This week was easy. Zoe is doing some other stuff. She's out of town doing some stuff. So I was like, sure, this is perfect. Perfect timing.
Yeah, why not?
Wow.
We don't
Good
we
timing.
don't watch epics very much, and I think most
Yeah.
people don't watch epic movies very much. Like it's something that you have to like make an appointment for. You know.
You do,
Yeah, I had
although I would argue that the Dune and Dune 2 sequels of late have brought a little bit of that back. I guess if you have the right energy or genre or whatever, you can get people in there.
Oh,
for that.
there are definitely lots of long movies being made all the time, right? But
Yeah.
it's just like when you know someone who hasn't watched Oppenheimer, and you're like, hey, you should watch this movie. It's really good. Like, yeah, but it takes all day.
Yeah.
It seems very cost inefficient to make a movie that's 3 hours long. I mean, you're not. It's not like people are going to pay you again like halfway through the movie. You know,
You don't have to pay an
It
editor.
seems-
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
No,
but
that-
tell Kevin Costner that.
Yeah,
'cause
that's true. He's in
That's
trouble.
when you've seen what happened, right? They've tentatively just like put pause on chapter 2 of that thing or something. So
Yeah, it bums
Yeah.
me
Oh,
out
really?
because I don't know what their plan will be ultimately to get that out there because the whole thing was filmed back
Maybe
to
go straight
back.
to video.
So they've got it all. Maybe, and we're going to talk about that coming up. So maybe that'll even come into that conversation. But here's the thing: I love a Costner Western. I'm very excited about Horizon and Part 2 and all that. I want to see all this. But if you're saying, hey Scott, do you have 3.5 hours just any time all the time? No, I
Right.
don't.
No, I do not.
I don't. I have other things going on. And
You're
this
gonna make me sound like a fake Fletcher.
But this thing was great in a couple of ways that I think are worth talking about. There's also, I think, a lot of things about Scarface that don't hold up, and it's in the wake of time. I think that the overall take that most people put this like in the top 10 gangster films of all time, I think is still okay. Top 10, I think, is okay.
Top 10 gangster films. Sure. I'd put it up there. Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as like, I don't know, like there's a part of this movie where they do a big long montage and they even play the like ultimate montage music.
Yeah, it's like right out of a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
right in the middle with the wedding and everything and the tiger.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
wondered if that came from this, like if that's the origin of this. I
Right.
don't know. I don't.
You know, I
actually
like that scene in Scarface. Let's make one like that. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a good question.
Is it here? Here it is. I'll just play a taste because I know
Rocky was before this, though, right?
I'll get blocked
Yeah.
for this. Okay, that song. It feels like That feels like
What
Karate Kid or something. I don't
What
know
is
why.
it
They still-
doing? We can
Right.
talk more about the music later. It's just that is not the only thing where I'm like, what is that doing in this movie? And of
Yeah.
course, it's because these guys were making a movie in 1982. They're like, they have what they have to work with, right? It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
you don't get to send them back some supplies from the future.
No, that's totally true. It's a thing of its time. And so coming into this, 3 of us had seen it, 1 of us hadn't, right? Dunno or Ibbot hadn't seen it.
I hadn't seen this. Yeah, this was.
2 of us.
Oh, 2 of you.
Brian's. Yeah, either Brian had seen.
Oh, you
Scarface.
hadn't seen this before either. Wow.
Yeah.
I
No,
thought
I've
it was
never
just
seen
the
this
one.
movie.
Oh,
I have
shit.
everything I know about this movie is from the Ghetto Boys song "F-em," and man, did I know most of the lines in this movie because of that one song.
Sure.
But
yeah.
and also I had heard like like every other male growing up in North America in the last 30 years, I had friends who had a Scarface poster on their wall and talked about the chainsaw scene or the final shootout and the thing, or when F. Murray Abraham gets hanged from a freaking helicopter.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I knew even though I knew it was coming, I was not prepared for how absolutely
I think
terrible that is.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I've seen, like all of the clips. It's almost like like I'm a tweener working in a factory where I've seen all of the keyframes, and I just basically have to watch this to see all the things that go in between the keyframes.
I had
that's
definitely
interesting.
seen the chainsaw scene on TV, like HBO Max or someplace like that, and I had seen that before. Because like, oh yeah, I've seen this, but most of it, no, I did not.
Well,
really
I mean, the
remember.
ambush scene you've seen a million times, right?
Oh well, yeah, I've seen him say hello to my little friend a million times in every little clip that's ever been made about any movie.
Well,
ever.
and also there are scenes in this movie that have been parodied, and I didn't even realize it because I've never seen the whole movie. I didn't realize it. Like, there's the scene where Al Pacino and his best friend are sitting on the beach, and his best friend decides to go hit on a girl, and then Al Pacino comes in and is like, I'm gonna sit here and eat some popcorn and talk to these children.
Yeah,
while this
the
goes on."
mom who's
I
sitting
walked
there
up to
looking.
a random child, and mom's fine with that. Yeah, welcome to the
I
80s,
have,
folks.
I have seen that parodied. I don't know if it was like on Mad TV or something like Mad TV, but I've seen that parodied, and it's funny. Like there were moments in this movie where I laughed out loud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's stuff in there that intentionally or not, some of it is very funny. I think some of it is not intentional. I think some of it is like just it's old and ridiculous. And then there were times where I was like, man, this is a really freaking dark, good film. And then there were times when they were dancing at some horrible club. I just go,
Disco,
oh,
yeah.
gosh.
It's a
dude.
really good descent into madness film. I didn't see it much
is.
as absolute power, corruption, that kind of stuff really spoke to me as far as on a human level. It's like, oh,
This is one of those things where we're seeing, obviously not the very first version. This even itself is a remake, but we're seeing a very early archetype that a lot of movies later on would do better, differently, and better in some cases. But it's the long time ago rags to riches model, just done with coming up in the world and being a drug lord and da-da-da. And I think this movie lives on its the impression that it made on people more than it lives on its actual merits. I think as a movie it's good, it's very good, but I think it's not as good as the following and the cult adoration that it seems to have spawned in, like Randy was saying, movie posters and rap songs that have been inspired by it and things like that. But that said, it's good.
It is good.
Having not seen the movie before yesterday, I had no idea that it was just chock full of Italian Americans trying to do a Cuban American accent.
Right.
I had no idea. I mean, I knew the main actor was doing that, but like, and I think I called him Frank Loggia because Robert Loggia plays Frank Lopez.
Right. He's Frank
feel
Lopez.
Like Robert Loggia was so out of his element trying to do his Cuban accent, and he's a perfectly good actor, and he rises to the occasion sometimes, but he's just not right for the role. And I found myself smiling at the whole movie. Like, I'll bet you this was fine in 1983. I bet it was fine. I bet
Yeah.
nobody cared about this
Nobody
angle
cared
that
about
I've
that.
got.
Well, sure,
No,
but you also
no.
get some actual Cuban actors like Stephen Bauer. I want to mention this guy. So he's raised here essentially, but he comes from Cuban. He's got a Cuban background. He's one of our Breaking Bad connections. He plays Don Ilario, or whatever his name is, the head of the Mexican cartel in Breaking Bad and in Better Call Saul. And he's his friend here, his best friend, who he kills later because that's why not. Because anytime anybody got near his sister, it was like, holy shit, I better kill whoever that is.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he's
turn.
I think he's very good. I think that Stephen Bauer guy is an excellent actor. And I also, the accent didn't cause me to do a Robert Loggia, Al Pacino, F. Murray Abraham double take, where I was like, none of you sound like you're from where you're supposed to be from, you know?
Right. The one I think that was the one that took me out of the movie was Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio's Cuban accent, because it went all over the place.
Yeah, I didn't think she was very good in this. I like her in The Abyss. I like her in stuff.
Sure.
She's great. She's a great
yeah.
actress. But
she's great.
this particular Abyss, a little too.
Abyss.
I mean, she's fine. The problem with her character too, and then this viewing, this is so weird to be the only guy in FilmSack that saw a movie before you guys did. That's
No kidding.
blowing my mind. But this is like my 6th time or something, and
Oh wow.
Wow.
I think this may have been one of those. You know, when you're a kid and the first time you see controversial rated R stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's at your friend's house and your parents don't know and all that stuff. This is like one of like top 3 of those.
Yeah.
Probably.
This is F-bombing all over the place on a Peacock. I said Netflix earlier, but this is the Peacock we watched this on, and man, is just so much F-bombing. It's got an X rating. Did it get an X rating when it launched?
So there's a story around that. The MPAA did not want to rate this movie. They kept trying to just say it's we're not putting a rating on this thing, and the filmmakers kept going back over and over, and eventually arranged a big meetup where they brought in experts.
Al Pacino.
They put huge air quotes around experts. They brought in experts and just basically bullied the MPAA into giving an R rating.
This is a great time, by the way, to do this. All right, so NBC, known for their "The More You Know" campaign. Also, NBC owners of Peacock. So here's a little more you know about Peacock. I thought I had Peacock subscribed. I didn't. And this was a premium film, so you had to be on premium level, not the free tier.
You could not use free cock.
Right. I could not use free cock. And as a result, I was like, oh, shit, I'll sign up real quick. No big deal. I'll just do a month or whatever. I went in there, signed up for a month, $5.99. Not that bad. And it said, all right, thanks. I'm like, that's cool. And then I thought to myself, what if I went right back in and canceled? That way I don't have to remember this in 30 days. I'll just have canceled.
Yeah. That's what I used to do.
Not that I even need to keep it. I'm just in this mode right now of like managing my subscription. So I did that, and it immediately said, oh, we're so sorry. Even though I just signed up, we're so sorry to have you leave. How about 99 cents a month for the next 6 months?
They didn't want you to go. They didn't want you to go. Scott.
Oh,
so now I have this thing until the winter for 99 cents a month.
And the math,
good to know.
Yeah.
And the math says this. How long will it take Scott to forget that he has this? So we can get like 2 or 3 months that him for
Yeah, I got bad news for them, because I literally have a reminder set up for 6 months from now to tell me that this is up, and then I'm going to do it again and get them to extend it again. That's the goal.
Yeah. Nice.
Go ahead, Randy.
It's mine.
Yeah.
It's funny you do this, because I just this morning canceled SiriusXM, or did the pretend to cancel it. Because I get I have the reminder in my phone that says on the 21st it's going to renew, and you better do something about it. So 7 days before, and they offered me the big discount again, but this time they said, and we'll lock this in so you don't need to call us back in 6 months and get it moved down again. This is your price unless we do a price hike, an across the board price hike, in which case you'll get notified about that. But they looked back and said, apparently, said, all right, here's what you do. Here's the cheap price. Keep it forever.
That's amazing. They know what your pattern is. That's great.
They do. Yes, exactly.
The problem is the future is the AI will know what we're doing, and it will it will probably curb it and just go.
Well, I will have
Yeah.
my AI call up their AI and debate. And I'll bet it'll be very interesting.
I'll have my Tony Montana AI
Right, there
go
you
strong
go.
arm them into giving me a better price. 10% increase. Forget that, bank man.
Yeah, forget it.
Your AI Tony Montana will just have Manolo do it. Manolo.
Right, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but he's okay. So let's get to the top of the thing. I didn't know this was written by Oliver Stone until this viewing. That was news.
I know. I didn't know that.
Same here. Yeah.
Had
My
no
first
idea.
viewing.
And I know that's what he was doing back then, a lot of screenwriting and stuff. But that's kind of a big deal, and it also feels a lot like something he would write. I don't know why. It just had the vibe.
This is when he was struggling with cocaine, and he actually had to leave the country to finish writing this because he's like, the cocaine not good for brain. It's bad. It's fun, but it's bad.
Wait, did he move to a country with no cocaine? Is that how he did it?
Out of America, because America is just like easy access. It's just at least 180.
Yeah, around this time, that's true. The cocaine problem was a problem. It was everywhere.
Yeah, it's a problem. And you could tell from the powdered nose that Al Pacino had near the end, which always made me laugh and also sadness.
Yeah, yeah, they did a good job.
Also,
yeah,
that was really that from what I read, that was really what was it, baby
Laxative. So
baby laxative.
really?
That's scary. Even baby laxative is probably going to make you poop.
but the reason it was a specifically baby drug is because there was very little drug in there. Right. It was a very super low dose, so you could snort some, and it wouldn't really have much of an impact on you.
Yeah.
Just hopefully don't snort a human-sized amount of baby laxative.
They never showed it where it was like entering into his nose. He could have just pretended. I would have never have known if he just sat down next to it and went and just did that. I would never know.
Whereas Michelle Pfeiffer looks like she's getting a snootful, man.
Oh, she is definitely.
She is not acting when she's snorting coke.
No, it feels like she knows how to do it. It concerned me a little bit. I was like, oh, are we? I just saw her in Quantumania, and I'm like, you move pretty good for someone in your 60s. Did you? Yeah. Is there cocaine in your system right now?
Are you cocaine right now?
Are you cocaine?
Are you cocaine?
But and a couple other weird things, by the way. The mom, played by Miriam Colin, was only 4 years older than Al Pacino. So it was one of those deals where she would have been 4 years old when she gave birth to this guy. He's 42, Al Pacino, when he's making this movie. Michelle Pfeiffer's 25. I had a real deep dive on ages for some reason.
Right.
And the way I like what they
so unlike you.
It's unlike me at all.
Dive on ages.
But I like the idea of him looking kind of young and fresh 42 in the beginning, and by the end I don't know if they were coloring his cheeks or what they were doing, but he had that sunken cheek Al Pacino thing going on, and I think he's supposed to be, I don't know, what, mid-50s by the time the story gets there.
Yeah, because that's what he was complaining about it in the restaurant. Was talking about being 50, where he was at then in his life. Yeah. Right.
So they really did a good job of that. I felt his transformation. I guess what I'm saying is, hey, guys, I don't want to shock you. Al Pacino's a pretty good actor.
He is.
Yeah.
He really carries the movie. Like, there are plenty of other good actors with plenty of other good roles here. Paul Shinar as the Colombian drug lord, who is just scary as hell.
Yeah.
He's amazing. But Al Pacino has 80% of the movie, so you have, thank goodness he's really good at this.
Yeah. There's a real secondary character strength in this movie. There's a lot of stuff like that. For every Robert Loggia, I almost did it too. For every one of those guys where it just feels a little out of place, there's somebody like Harris Yulin. He's back. We love that guy anyway. But the guy that plays the dirty detective, man, I could watch that guy anytime, anywhere. Bring him on. Let's go. He's still alive, by the way, out there kicking.
Detective.
That dude's still making movies. He's nuts. And then, like I said, Stephen Bauer, I just think is the heart of this movie. And you kind of know early on that his softer approach to the world, even though he's all up in this crime, he's the one that shoots Frank in the head, all that stuff. But there's still something about him that you just immediately go, oh, he's dead. He's not going to live this whole movie.
He can't live.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
It's not sustainable. But I loved him. I thought he was really good. Underrated as one of the characters and actors in this thing. And Mark Margolis, our other Breaking Bad reference.
Not only our other, like there are like 7 people in this movie that end up
our
in.
only other major.
Big one,
Breaking Bad,
big face. Yeah,
like you just named Miriam Colon. Did you know she was in Better Call Saul?
I did not know that. What's she playing there? She's still with us. Let's see here. She played Better Call Saul. I can't find it. Oh, there it is.
I can't find it.
Abuelita. What? I don't know what she did.
Abuelita.
Abuelita. She was in 2 episodes. And I don't remember the context, but yeah. No, she's great, and played older well, because not knowing that she was only 4 years younger than Pacino, or older rather, I wouldn't have guessed. She seemed like his mom.
I thought it was kind of interesting, probably unintentionally, to see her kind of struggling with what we're assuming his dad was kind of like, Tony Montana's dad, that we never really meet or talk to or anything.
Right.
And it just felt like maybe, that's where because we're constantly trying to figure out, since we met the mom and the sister, we're going, well, what's his problem? Why is he freaking insane? What happened to him? What's with the scar on his face? And what's the tattoo? And what was his previous story? And so I enjoyed that character exploration.
Yeah.
I hate to like try to assign more meaning and purpose to a movie than it really deserves. But
right.
this movie got me with all of the competing reasons for why Tony Montana is the way he is.
Right.
And I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, there's really like these 3 big magisteria of reasons for him. Like, there's the political reasons, right? Like, he was pushed out of Cuba by a terrible dictator, and he had to be on a boat, and then he was in a concentration camp, like all those political reasons. And then there's like, you find out that his mom, and by the way, there's a whole other thing to talk about there, but his mom has always been kind of mean to him. And so like he had like childhood reasons for being who he is, right?
Right.
And then there's also the whole crime doesn't pay angle, right? Where once he sets out on the path to being just a pure criminal, like that he's, that's going to give you all the reasons you need for why he is who he is.
Right.
And like all of that is really interesting. And the movie doesn't bang you over the head with it, but it definitely provides a lot to think about.
Yeah, for sure. It's really good at that. I think that after he takes over, gets Frank, Frank is now dead. He gets to inherit essentially that operation. That's really when the movie goes to its most memorable time. But prior to that was more interesting than I remember, and also a little too quick. Like, they rose from dishwasher to big deal very quickly. And
yeah.
I don't know.
I would say maybe not quick enough. It was an hour and a half before he got that.
Well, that's my point, though.
But I think there's something to that. Like, there's a did they earn it kind of situation. Did he earn? Did he work hard enough to get Elvira?
He washed dishes. Oh.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, basically, he did one job where it got messy. The chainsaw and all the stuff happened. But I just don't know how that was enough for Frank to go from, or not Frank, but F. Murray Abraham to go from just completely mocking this guy as a chode to, I'm taking you into Frank, and Frank's going to meet you, and we're going to, I don't know. That just seemed for a movie that's that long. It just seems like that was awful quick to me.
Yeah.
But then also they kind of explained a little bit, because it's like you still question, we're supposed to feel a little paranoid as well. What's the truth? Is Omar, who got hung from the helicopter, was he really was he bad? I don't know. Was he a cop?
Oh, informant, because they did say he was an informant, didn't they? Yeah.
Right. And is that the reason why they pulled him in so quick? It's like, okay, we got this new up and comer. He looks like he's crazy. Let's get him in so we can go ahead and bust him.
Yeah, that's a good question. But that's my whole point. It's like it's like bam, bam, bam. New guy, you're in, and now you're gonna have enough power to actually take us all down. And also, what a weird assassination attempt on him in that club, because those guys were just like napkin guns the whole time. They kept pulling him up, putting him down.
Oh yeah.
And I just thought,
that
wow,
scene, you want to like that scene felt like,
with the weird
felt
clown.
like it went an hour.
Yes.
I did.
I get it that Frank. He just that was a moment when Frank was testing him, and that's when Frank decided, okay, I have to have this guy killed. Right. Like there was a true, like, and it was very well acted, that moment, by the way. And then you completely forget about all of that because you're just slowly being dragged through the longest shootout of all time.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where I'm like, this movie could have been better edited, I think.
Yeah, or maybe just tighten it up. That's all.
Yeah.
Which I guess is your point. But yeah, just tighten it up. And there was even a re-release in 2003. I love this trivia, by the way. So in 2003, it was like, hey, this is our, what is that, 40 years? Whatever it is.
Right.
Studio wanted Brian De Palma to change the soundtrack so that a bunch of rap songs that have been inspired by the movie were like in it. They were going to license all these rap songs that reference it, and he he refused. He was like, "No, freaking, what are you doing?" But
No, I want it to sound like an old porno.
Yeah, I want. Yeah. I mean, kinda. Basically, that is what it sounds like. I have to admit, though, and I know we'll talk about music later, but the actual score kind of grew on me. The music they used that was like fake, cheap, like we don't have to license this garbage, like She's on Fire, whatever the hell that was.
Right.
Those songs aside, the actual just synthy.
The Giorgio Moroder stuff.
It's all Giorgio.
I like that.
The whole movie is Giorgio. Wow. I had no idea until I looked it up.
Even those soundtrack songs, the Amy Holland stuff are still written and produced by Giorgio Moroder as well. So he's both score and soundtrack in this thing.
You get a better deal if you get the package.
That's right.
Yes, right, exactly.
Tony set that up.
I'll throw in She's on Fire for free.
That song freaking sucked ass. I hated it. And they played it twice, 2 different visits to different clubs, and it just was too much. It's like, come on now.
Amy Holland, basically, I think has made a career on, I don't want to say throwaway soundtrack songs. And she's married to Doobie brother Michael McDonald.
Oh,
really?
No, that's that
that
is
guy.
him. Is that him? Yeah,
He
that's him.
came from somewhere back in a long ago. Okay.
That guy. Love that guy.
That guy. That's the one.
That guy.
Yep, they're sleeping together. So
Speaking of sleeping together, Gina and Tony, boy, that was an uncomfortable situation there at the end. I'm like, oh, okay.
well,
Yeah.
What am I watching?
You have to remember they're both really, really high.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. At first, I was like, "Is he dreaming this? Is this a drug? Is this it's a
Maybe.
cocaine
It might
dream?" And
be.
then, but it ended up not being, of course, because she gets
It's
blown
super
away.
important that you catch these fleeting moments when it's like these thugs say we put a bunch of pills into her. Like if you didn't notice that, you might not understand why the hell she's sleepwalking.
Right.
Like
Trying to tempt
the
her
movie
brother.
does provide every explanation that you need.
yeah, it's uncomfortable to say the least. And
It is.
And that's the point. That's the point.
That
right?
is the
Again,
point.
Is it, she hasn't seen him in however many years. I mean, it's a big jump to say, okay, he wants me for himself. Like he doesn't want
Right.
anybody else to have me. It's like, wow, okay, you haven't seen him in like 30 years or 20 years, however old she is.
Yeah.
And to make that leap, even in a drug-induced state is
It's a
a
little
pretty big jump.
Yeah, it's a little extreme, I
A
think.
little extreme.
Yeah.
There's
But it was good.
There's certain characters in this movie where we never see them sober. Like Michelle Pfeiffer's character, I don't think we ever see sober.
Yeah. She's always
Whereas
stoned. Yeah.
whereas Stephen Bauer's character, Manny is sober a lot.
Mhm.
all the time, right?
There's the last half of the movie, he's like always the voice of reason,
Mhm.
and like I'm curious what you think about Tony Montana. Is he always high, or are there times when we're seeing him thinking clearly?
Well, I think later he's always high. I think
Yeah,
before
second half.
before the Frank killing, he might snort a line here or there to test the product or something, but I think it's not until later that he becomes just a complete coke fiend. And they do a pretty good job of like giving you the feeling that you didn't get to see a lot of this lead up where he's just having, creating a drug problem for himself. But it's implied in a way that worked for me. So, even when he's in the giant tub that's way too big for anyone to have a tub that big. And I'm thinking, well, this is such excess that when I see a literal pile of cocaine on his desk that would give 1,000 babies diarrhea, right? I see that and I just go, well, yeah, of course. This is the kind of excess we're living now. He's got red carpet, freaking black walls. Like, of course we're here now. This is what's going on.
Yeah. I like some of that subtext that was going on because when he's first mad, essentially Tony Montana does not want anybody to tell him what to do. And for whatever reason, whether it's because his mom or whatever, anyway, so when he was under the communist rule, he didn't want anybody to tell him what to do. And then he got into capitalism because he thought that was the place that he could tell, that he would have complete control. And then he finds out that he's not actually in control. Capitalism is kind of taking him over, and so it's an interesting spiral that talks about that and his descent into madness. And also Frank Lopez's character had told him, he said, if you want to be around for a while and not die in a horrible death, you got to follow these rules. And he was breaking every one of those rules at that point.
Yeah, it's an interesting arc to see.
Yeah,
I do think they could have told it in a tighter fashion.
I enjoyed this. This reminded me of the movies from the 70s that I sometimes enjoy the leisurely pace, because there's a lot of scenes where they're just filming stuff outside and around, and you get to see real life. Like at the beach, they don't pretty that up any. It's just what existed at that time. Yeah. And I love that on set.
All right. Was anybody else bothered by the scenes flipping back and forth from Florida to Southern California?
No, because I've never been. I've never been to Southern California, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it didn't bug you. I could see that.
It could have been someplace in Florida I've never been.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Man, I just couldn't. Well, the thing is, Southern Florida is flat. It's perfectly flat at all times. And so anytime you see an exterior in this movie and there's even the slightest incline, you're looking at Southern California. And then some of it, it's like, oh, wow, that's like his mother's house is in a neighborhood that's like straight out of, any of these, like, straight out Karate Kid or whatever, Southern California movies we've seen recently. And when they go there, I'm like, wait a minute. Did they just travel across the country to visit Mama? No. This movie apparently couldn't get the permits to film where they wanted to film in Miami.
Yeah.
And so they decided, we'll just try to make palm trees in SoCal look like Miami.
Sure.
It's almost trying to get license for things that is a very sore subject from the location.
Exactly. Yeah. Miami. Right. Who knew that Miami would be kind of adverse to promoting the drug and
especially at this stage of
trade down there.
Especially that decade, because people were it was getting out of control down there. Or at least that was the impression. Yeah. And I'm sure they were like, well, we don't need to further that impression.
No, we'll wait for Miami Vice to come along and clean all that up.
Yeah. And that would have been, actually, it was right around this time, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. Not too much longer.
That was another one. Miami was a bit of a
Miami
target mystery then. Miami, yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean? Like they looked at it and went, what's it like today? Today, what's the intriguing, it's like New Orleans sometimes, or you'll have a run of
what's
thing.
where you put your cop in a hard place, or your detective trying to solve a murder? Where do you put them in the U.S. right now?
Yeah, like it changes, right? Chicago is always popular. In fact, the original Scarface was set in Chicago.
Right.
They tried to do
Gritty
that again.
Kansas City.
I guess they do that with Fargo, because Kansas City mobs, the whole thing.
Oh, sure, yeah. I was joking, but that really is a good point. Yeah, sure.
But it's like, you have these trends, and I think Miami had a real trend there for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These days, you just think of it and they go, oh yeah, South Beach. Let's do some, birdcage level stuff. Let's have some clubs, and it's the beach and spring break and all that shit. That's what that gets these days, feels like.
Well, we've got I don't know if it's already come out because I don't care, but the new Bad Boys sequel, does that, because that's always been a Miami thing, right? They're
always Florida, at least, right?
Always Florida. Is the fourth one, does anybody know, is the fourth one also in Florida?
It's still at the theater for one more week, hanging on over here where I'm
Is it really? So it did already come out?
I thought about going to go see it, and I'm like,
I think a lot of people probably feel the same way.
Dude,
I think about going to see it.
I hear it's good. Everything I've heard is that it's good.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still having trouble after Will Smith slapped.
Oh,
it's not anything too personal about it. It's just like,
it's just hard.
I always had this impression of you as being the good guy, and now you're obviously,
never meet your heroes.
Yeah, not bad actually. Yeah, 65 Rotten Tomatoes, 710 IMDb, 54% Metacritic.
Yeah,
I'll get over it, by the way.
It's like the kind of ratings you want, or it's a kind of reaction you want to a film like that. I think they did all right. Yeah, and I don't know who these directors are. They're brothers or something, or I don't know what they are. But it's not.
I don't know what they are. But they got the same last names. I make them brothers. I think it does.
It's not what's his name. But anyway, I kind of want to see it, but I'm gonna wait. I'm not seeing that in theaters.
Yeah, and wait for us to watch it on Film Sack, right?
Oh, we could do that. Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Martin Lawrence looking real squatty in that.
Okay.
Squatty.
I mean, it's
You
fine.
mean age is catching up with him?
I
What?
guess so.
Okay.
I don't know. It just threw me a little bit because I did see the one before this one, and he isn't nearly as squatty. I don't even know what I mean by that. I feel like he's shrinking.
We know what you mean. You're trying to say that his vertical height is now closer to his horizontal width. I get it.
Yeah, that's actually fair.
It's-
That's
It's
fair.
rude.
No, it's fair, and it is rude. It's both things. Anyway, so what else was I going to say? Oh, I know what I was going to say to you. You ever been to a restaurant where they bring you a little bowl you just put your fingers in and like that's how you clean
you
it?
eat your lemons. You eat the lemon out of it. Nom, 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 nom.
Definitely don't eat the lemon out of it. Yeah.
Well, that was Colombia, right? Like so.
Right,
yeah,
like
that
it's
was,
supposed to be.
Omar, or not Omar, but where Omar died. Yeah.
Sosa.
By the way, that was filmed in a compound in Santa Barbara, California, and you can go see it. You can drive by. Like
Will they give
it's
you
like-
lemons?
I don't know, but you can go see that house. It's like
I don't think you want to take a
mansion.
helicopter over it though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
No, that'd be great if there was a big like a sculpture out there.
Helicopter tour
Yeah.
of.
I'm not riding the helicopter. Ah.
But you just do it like a cheap scare where you have on a giant metal beam. There's a helicopter and a guy hanging from it. Like
And,
Right.
and by the way, between F. Murray Abraham walking toward the helicopter and him dying, someone really beat him
Rough
up.
him up. Yeah.
Like they didn't know. It's not roughed him up. They had a torture dude with a knife in there, and like in a matter of minutes, a few minutes, like they just why you're gonna kill the guy? Why torture him? I don't understand.
They also did it. Well, you're to your point. They did it so fast. It was like, dude,
Yeah.
he looks like he's
Yeah.
been beat for days, not just
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
He was thrashed up there. I mean, do
Yeah,
we have
he
a
fell out of
theory?
the
Maybe he fell out of the helicopter before they got off the ground too much.
They were
Yeah,
not
so they can pick him up.
Could be. I
Yeah.
tried to find this and I couldn't find anything definitive, but there's nothing that says whether he was truly an informant or working for the cops.
Yeah, they don't. That was the point. Because we're supposed to feel paranoid, like Tony is starting to feel. Right? We're supposed to start questioning.
That is kind of the beginning of his paranoia, isn't it? Sort
Right.
of. Well, that and seeing his sister dance with a dude at a place, but other than that,
Dance with the devil in the bathroom.
ugh.
Gross.
Yeah,
It's a pretty clean looking bathroom, but
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah,
What gross house got the most?
not that.
Yeah.
Not that. I'll tell you what did though. Here, let's do it now.
Gross.
It's when they are all crammed in that bus at the beginning. That's just no air conditioning. It's a hot, freaking humid Florida summer. There are something like 50 men crammed in there.
Yeah.
50 men.
That place stinks, dude. There's
How'd you
no
like
way.
Live under,
Oh.
How would you like live under 95 in tents?
Oh yeah,
That looks like
Town,
fun.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah, and then as soon as they get out of that hot, disgusting truck, they go play basketball in the middle of the summer.
Mhm.
Ugh, dude. Tony Montana, more like Tony. Tony can smell you or whatever.
That,
That grossed me out.
all of those concentration camp scenes were filmed here, where the 110 and the 10 intersect right in LA, and you could just see it. You could see like the California cars going by. And, like I say, like it was just like so obvious when I'm watching this. I'm like, I have to keep suspending disbelief. Okay, all right, no, this is actually supposed to be Southern Florida, where they don't have highways like this. This is supposed to be Southern Florida. I can do this.
Randy's rocking back and forth.
Yeah, I can do this.
Wow. Yeah, it's
Maybe if you just had a little Coke, you could have made it through it. I don't know.
it was just a real.
Cocaina.
I just got like a real
Yo.
solid vibe of this place just stinks all the time.
Oh, it's terrible.
All the time. And not just then, like later, that club looked like it reeked. Hell, that restaurant looked like it smelled like what's the thing you always get back then? The chicken with the cheese on it.
Chicken with
Cordon
the
bleu.
cheese
Cordon
on it.
bleu. Everybody's getting the
Yeah.
cordon bleu at that restaurant. And boy, that was a cringy scene. Anyway, yeah.
Were you a little grossed out by the chainsaw scene?
Not really. I remember when I was much younger, I thought that was the most shocking thing I'd ever seen. But then this watching, I was like, most of this is off scene, off
Yeah,
camera.
they don't really show
show
very
it.
much of it.
Yeah, I mean the hard thing to watch is the dude's face and his eyes kind of roll back in his head as it's happening to him. But yeah, everything else happens off screen. That's obviously even more, I think, more powerful than seeing the special effect and saying, okay, well that's a rubber arm and that's a
I love
fake blood and that sort of
I
thing.
agree.
I love that
Yeah.
there's someone with a squirt gun filled with fake blood, and they're aiming it right at Tony Montana, and then one of the other gangsters is holding a clear shower curtain in front of Al Pacino's face, just so that this actor doesn't get shot in the eyes.
Right.
It was just so perfect. Oh,
it was a really intense scene. It's really well done and made and all that, but it just this time around I was like, oh, this isn't that gross. It's fine.
Right.
It's just implied, and and like Ibit says, I agree. It's implied in a way that works better than if they showed it.
Yeah, because of the sound effects. Someone took an actual chainsaw to a piece of meat.
Yeah.
And gave you those sounds. It's like terrifying.
Yeah. It was cool.
It also reminds me that I need to carry a chainsaw in a briefcase wherever I go. I never think about it.
Right.
And,
right. And one that can
smaller ones, like those ones that you use for the high branches that you usually attach to a pole arm and cut down the dead branches at the top of your trees. That'll fit in a briefcase easy.
Yeah, you should do that. Also, get one that
Humans
starts
are easy chops.
Get one that starts every time, because this poor guy.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh yeah.
He's just like yanking on that.
Trope alert, please.
Always. Whoops.
When the worst thing you've ever heard of is going down and it's loud, the people that you set as backup are going to be listening to music.
Yeah.
Why are they?
And talking to a lady that disappeared the very next year. I didn't. Yeah, it's weird.
Wait,
the lady who was in that scene that he was all groping on.
Oh.
Yeah,
the one
just
that
disappeared.
Bikini girl that dude in the car was groping on. Yeah.
It was in the trivia. I was like, who crap is that? I'm like, oh, the lady that was just on the street. Well, they obviously took her.
Yeah. Oh, I forget. You know what? She's a little bit of a chick in the bucket, but I actually think we're going to give it to Catwoman, because she
grab a bucket.
She was important all the way to the end, and then she leaves him, I guess, right? And then
I thought for sure we'd see, her body in a later scene, like, did you take care of that thing I asked you to? And then you see Elvira's body somewhere or something.
I thought she was gonna come by later. I was like, Tony, you here? Just turn around or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what I expected there, but I expected something.
Oh, your sister! Oh my God!
Yeah, right. I expected something. Instead, she was in a bucket, and then she wasn't. Literally the definition of chick in the bucket.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And that's the second time Will Smith related project has come up on the show today. Fantastic. What else? She was 25, he was 43, and I was thinking about that. We'd probably think that's a little gross today, but she's an adult. That's fine. Whatever.
I mean, they don't ever really do this. Most of it's verbal, right? Other than when he touches her and says, "Come on, come in with me." And
the movie itself. I mean, the movie itself never even brings it up. But I'm just looking at actor age, and I'm thinking, man, she also just plays older.
I think it's good because she's reluctant, and we already know her character is trapped in a situation that she can't escape. So it didn't bother me, I don't think, because it was portrayed that way. Instead of some weird movie where it's like we're supposed to suspend our belief that this 25-year-old likes this 60-year-old guy, in which case that feels creepy.
Well, right. But the entire thing, her and Frank Loggia,
right.
And her and him or anyone really, like, why is she still hanging around? Well, she has a coke problem. And not only does she have a coke problem, but she has a I don't know where else to go problem. Yeah. And there's something really tragic about that. It's hard to watch. Yeah. And the whole time she's snippy about it. She's, angry.
I know. She doesn't mind speaking her mind.
Yeah. She's happy to call him a douchebag every chance she gets. But you got to stay because you got the coke. You got the cocaine.
You got the coke.
Yeah. Or what did he call it? There was a
Yayo.
Yayo. Yeah.
And they played the Yayo song too, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is that song really about Yayo or something else?" I had to look it up.
It says here, Tony Montana used Yayo as slang for cocaine. Al Pacino learned the word while learning the Cuban accent, and ad-libbed it during the chainsaw scene. Brian De Palma liked it enough to keep it throughout the film. He also liked him saying, "Take it easy." I wish I could go back and rewatch it and just make sure I captured all the take it easies. Because I didn't.
Do a little supercut, little take it easy supercut.
Yeah, because there's like 100, dude, at least.
Yeah.
And it's not even just
way more cockroaches than I thought was going to be in this. I thought that was just like a one-off.
Yeah.
He talks about cockroaches all the time.
It's hard for me to keep a straight face when he says it. It's just too weird of a way to say it.
Yeah.
I do have some scrutiny, though. Let's do this.
Scrutiny.
When Scarface 1983 was released oh, no, that's not that one. Brian De Palma, let's see, said that Oliver Stone named Tony Montana after his favorite American football player, Joe Montana. I don't know if I believe that. Where's Joe Montana in 83?
Right. So that was kind of the question. Was Tony... So, the original movie was like around Italian mobsters. This was supposed to be around Cuban mobsters. And so was Tony so I'm assuming that was not his real name, right? I mean...
Tony... Well, Anthony...
The original movie, he was just named Tony. No one had last names in the original movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a very
Tony.
Italian name, right? Unlike... Do you see a lot of Tonys in Cuba? Is that a thing?
Well, his mother called him
Antonio.
Antonio.
Yeah, Antonio.
Antonio.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to say. By the way, his career went from, I guess Tony Montana, or Joe Montana could have been the inspiration. He was playing ball then, but mostly, I guess he was NFL drafted in '79. So I don't know. That just sounds like horseshit to me.
Hey, names are hard to come up with when you're writing stuff. So he's all like, he's coked up and he's like, I think I'll name him Tony Montana. Yeah, that sounds like a real good idea.
Is he still doing Oliver Stone making things? Is he a guy doing stuff?
Oh, yeah, he still does stuff.
All right, let's see here. Last thing he did was directed a movie last year called Lula. Or this year.
Lula.
I've never heard of that. Oh, it's a documentary. All right, never mind.
Yeah, he's doing more documentary stuff now. Last couple times I've seen him.
Yeah, there's about and he's back on the JFK documentary.
Yeah.
It's grassy knoll bullshit.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, he directed that
He has
Snowden
things to say.
movie in 2016. That's right, the Snowden guy. Well, anyway,
That's Snowden guy.
The Snowden guy.
yeah,
That guy.
that guy,
Snowden guy.
So-
these guys.
So some trivia I absolutely do believe is that the F word is stated 226 times in this movie.
sounds
Seems
right.
light.
Sounds right.
Seems light.
Yeah. Do you know
A
who's
record at the time.
I was going to ask is the current record one of Tarantino's or something like that, right?
Oh, that's a good question.
F-bomb record.
Can look it up. Yeah.
That sounds like a cool record company. F-bomb Records.
The Wolf of Wall Street? I'm not sure if I believe
No,
that.
that's true. That's the one I saw.
Well, that's the one, and that's the one that's like, the first one is Swearing at the Movie and F, a documentary of the word, both of which I don't think
Those
should
don't
count. And then
count.
Wolf of Wall Street is third with
There you go.
569.
Well, Swearing at can count because Swearing at the movie isn't about. It's those guys. It's the trailer park guys up in Canada. They're known for that. They did their production company is called SwearNet, and this is a made up movie about them as characters doing wacky shit. It's fiction. I think that
so
one
it's
probably
not-
counts.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the SwearNet part is just the name of the production company, and they if you go to swearnet.com, you get all the Trailer Park Boys stuff and all that. But you're right about two. That should not be on there. Documentaries don't count.
Especially a documentary about the very word that you're counting the instances of.
And then you got Uncut Gems, Christmas, Bloody Christmas. What the hell's that? I'm trying to find another one that we would know. Casino at number 9. That's pretty.
Straight
fall.
Outta Compton, number 8.
Still haven't seen that.
Summer of Sam, number 4. Nil by Mouth, 5. Casino, 6.
Where is it on here? Is it on here?
Which one? Oh, where's Scarface on here now? 280 something, right? Was the number?
Jeez. It used to have the record. Now look at it.
Left far behind.
Oh, there it is. Number 56.
Okay.
Although this only says 207. I thought that we had a higher number, 280 something, right?
Oh, a total uses of the word.
Yeah. Well, what was the total number, Randy?
Yeah, Randy, what'd you say?
I've lost it all.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
Oh,
I've
20
so far past it.
207. It says 207. Well,
it is 207. Okay.
It says it on Wikipedia. I don't know which one's more accurate, but
And I don't know, the claim or the urban legend is that Blink-182 based their number, the 182, on the number of F-bombs spoken by Tony Montana. And I don't know if that's true or if that's just a...
it said a lot, but doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
In the last few minutes, I found myself looking up South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's a bunch of these. Like,
Yeah,
I'm a little
Big
surprised.
Lebowski has more F-bombs than...
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like it.
Scarface.
Like I just saw Abigail, the horror movie, long ago,
Yeah.
and that's like 8 places higher on the swear scale, and I do not remember it being that sweary. That's wild. Let's see if it shares the number with anyone. Nope, no ties.
No other 207s.
Everybody Wants Some is below it at 204, and there's 210 in Monument Avenue. I was sure that Reservoir Dogs or something was still number one, but wow, this list.
That's not even in the top 10 anymore.
I like stuff like this. These are
I do too.
stupid
I don't know.
stats.
Looks like we found different sources, so I don't know.
Here, I'll give you the one I found. I don't know if this is
newer.
Who knows how accurate this stuff is, or if they keep it up, Like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there's that. That's a fun thing.
Yeah.
This is another fun thing. Brian De Palma liked the script so much. He was so into this script that he dropped out of directing Flashdance. What?
Okay.
Brian De Palma was going to make Flashdance, you guys. And boy, what would that have been like? Probably the same as it is now, but whatever.
Probably.
That was also
Who
83.
did end up directing Flashdance?
Adrian Lynn, whoever that is. Jacob's Ladder, Fatal Attraction.
Oh, okay. All right.
Indecent Proposal. That guy. He kind of made one kind of movie.
Yeah. But he made them very well.
Yeah. He's still making
Also,
stuff.
music by Giorgio Moroder.
Oh shit!
Interesting.
A little more
I
memorable.
love those connections. I always do. Like, did you see the trivia that in this movie, Al Pacino shoots and kills Mark Margolis, and then 30 years later in Stand Up Guys, Mark Margolis kills Al Pacino?
No,
really?
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
I love Stand Up Guys. I didn't realize that was the case. That's amazing. Was that on purpose? I mean, like,
I don't know. I
think
have
they
no
were
idea.
goofing or having a good time there?
Just goofing.
Just goofing.
Don't do it. Just goofing.
Y'all just goofing. Real quick, Mark Margolis, very young in this. Never really speaks English, and really committed to this part. I really liked it. This henchman.
Yeah, he was great. God, that car scene with the no wife, no kids.
Oh, dude.
The bomb scene. Just watching his cold, steely look. Oh,
yeah,
he's great.
Also,
Mark
they need
Margolis.
They need better Bluetooth on those bomb devices. Good lord.
Right.
It's just barely keeping up with how close you had to
And
be
you
to
need
set
to-
the thing up.
That was the sloppiest C4 I've ever seen, too. What do you pad that out with, man? It was the worst.
Did you even press it down on there? Did you just
Jesus.
It was like a potato jammed up in there. Yeah, it looked really bad. And you could see it hanging down the whole way. And I'm like, what the hell is that job? That's terrible. Freaking Tio Salamanca, you know better, buddy.
You know better, brother.
Got it. Speaking of young, we got a very young Greg Henry in this movie.
Oh, yeah, not even
just like-
credited, by the way. He's not in the damn credits.
Yeah, he's just like in a meeting of the gangsters in Colombia.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And but man, when you see him, I'm just like, wait, is that Greg Henry? Is he like 19? What is he doing here?
Yeah, not only that,
was weird.
Not only that, I have clips later that just help show some of this, but you had at the beginning, I just forgot his name. Speaking of Big Lebowski and all the Coen Brothers things, Hudsucker Proxy.
Charles Durning.
Charles Durning's voice.
Yeah, in the interrogation scene.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
And then there's a different actor there that he's ADRing for some reason.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
And
right?
he's also not credited. And also Sipowicz, Dennis Franz is talking in it. And
Really?
he's not the same. There's a different actor in there who's doing VO. Most of it's, the camera's not even looking at these guys' faces, so you don't see them. But
yeah,
that was wild, hearing all these famous people. I'm like, they're not even in the damn credits, these people. They didn't move Catwoman. They moved everybody else. Anyway, it's really weird. Little or no credit on almost all those people. And I just thought that was odd. And also Clark Henry, who we just saw in Payback. Greg Henry. I'm thinking of Clark Gregg.
Oh, Henry.
I'm mixing up with Clark Gregg. Anyway.
Yeah. He's not your agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No. But he looked 10. Randy's right. He's so young. He's in this ill-fitting suit, and you're just like, dude, are you supposed to be at school? What are you doing here? Get back in class, slacker ass.
That whole scene was pretty cool, though, at the drug lord's house in South America when they were watching the video of that guy doing the interview, which was done, by the way. You can't use a front projection TV and project it into a picture frame, whatever. Anyway, they were every time they would mention one of their names, they would go in for these really close lookups of the person's face, and they'll be like going, "Oh no, they said my name." That was a weird scene.
It was a weird scene.
Right. Yes.
I'm with you. It was a very weird scene.
Yeah.
I liked all that stuff though. The transition with like knowing who he was getting in bed with this crazy drug lord down in Colombia who came from like high education, supposedly like a really important family, but he's like this, and he's very charming and good looking, and then he's the most brutal thing in the movie. And
did you like the South American ninjas? That was amazing.
Oh yeah, dude.
I usually see that in ninja movies, but man, that was great.
That was the most assassins I've ever seen in a non-ninja movie.
Yeah.
Usually in non-ninja movies, you send 1 or 2 people. And when it's 2, they're always interestingly different.
Yeah.
In this one, it's like you can't tell the difference between all
Cookie
these.
cutter assassins. Yeah.
Here's what's funny though, Dunaway. That literally during the movie made me pause and go see if the domain inefficientninjas.com was available, because I just liked the sound of it, and it is. It was, and then I went, wait, I'm trying to stop doing this, not pay for more. Of this, so
I need fewer of these, not more.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
We all went through this period, right, where it was like,
yeah,
shit, I want that domain. I don't know. Have a use for it. I'm just going to buy it. And then you pay yearly for it for like 12 years. And then you're like, what am I doing?
Exactly. But then this past week on another show we do, I found JetSetRadio.live, and I was like, God, these guys are living it right, because they're doing videos that they can't post on YouTube. And apparently they're in an area where the law can't get to them. So they're doing whatever they want. And I'm like, yes, this is the proper use of a domain.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Pirate radio.
Yeah. That you should do it, but then don't.
Yeah.
Because
we don't condone taking drugs or stealing things or pirate radios or nothing.
Or any of that. Yeah. Don't do it.
No.
Let's see. Anybody else got anything you want to mention about the just gigantic film?
I really enjoyed the parade of cars in this movie.
Yeah, very good.
When they first start getting some money, they're driving in a 71 Chevy Nova convertible. It looks really just like fun to drive around Miami. And then they're trying to prove something, so they step up to an older Cadillac convertible. And of course, Michelle Pfeiffer hates it. Like hates it viscerally, and I'm like, I don't know why she hates this car so much, because I love this car so much.
The car is great, but the interior was atrocious.
It was funny. It was like the perfect thing for some weird gangsters to buy. And then so like she hates that car, so then Tony Montana has to make a big deal out of buying a new Porsche 928, and like. That I'm like, wow, they're really making steps up here every time we get into a new car, we're stepping up.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, no, I like the car, and it was just as well. It also set it up for her being super cheesed out by it. She was like, I'm not getting in that thing. It's like, that's nasty, and she's right. It is nasty. Freaking gross. But that Porsche, that's the other thing that made me sad. Freaking inflation, man. He gets in that Porsche dealership and he's like, how much is this? 43 grand. I'm like, are you kidding?
The only time he doesn't bitch about the price of something, it is such a weird scene. I guess because he's trying to impress her, but then he bitches about it later.
Yeah. That's true. He was always complaining about prices.
Yeah.
2%.
This is a movie.
Bunch of cockroaches.
This is a movie about Karens. It's a Karen movie, is what it is.
It is.
Karen face.
Yeah, Karen cocaine.
Oh, that explains. So my biggest problem with the movie is they go to New York to assassinate a guy. And by the way, that guy's driving a 72 Citroen, and it is sweet. It is so good. And but my biggest complaint is that Tony Montana goes on himself. He goes to oversee this, and he's driving, and that just makes no. I'm sorry, not at this point. Maybe earlier in the movie he would have, but there's no way he actually travels to the assassination and then drives the car himself.
Well, it was weird because Sosa told him to do that, because I thought it was a setup. That was another thing that was supposed to make you feel paranoid, I suppose. It's like he first he's like, I don't want to go there, and he's like, okay, I'll go there since you said so. So I gotta lead the way, I suppose. It was a really weird scene.
Yeah. It was odd. Discordant, I'll call it.
Discordant.
Well, that means
But it
we
was
can.
good because he got to blow somebody away right there in the car.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was actually really great. That scene.
Yeah, I'll bet that smelled good.
Oh hell yeah.
And now we have to drive back to the hotel with dead Salamanca in our car.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and have Tony yell at the corpse for the next 5 minutes in the traffic.
I told you.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
Play
he's
games?
not.
Do you want to play games?
I don't think T.O. can hear you, dude. I think he's dead.
No. He's ringing his bell in heaven.
That's right. Ding, 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 ding. I did like that there was a box with a button on it that he was holding the whole time, and I was just thinking, oh
it's
man,
nice little
The keys.
little foreshadowing. You know, he could have pooped on the ground and it would have been even better, but he didn't.
yeah.
Let's do some clips, guys. How about those?
Yeah.
Clips, guys.
Yeah, we got Clips Guys. And that sounds like a YouTube channel. We're the Clips Guys.
It's Clips, guys.
And
Like and subscribe.
that's right. Here, let's start with Yankees.
He was a Yankee.
He was a Yankee.
He was a Yankee.
He was a Yankee. It's a dude from Hudsucker, Charles Durning, and you can just hear his voice.
You want to tell us about it, Montana? Or do you want to take a little trip to the detention center?
You dirty some bitch.
It was so unmistakably Charles Durning.
Yeah,
Wow.
I kept expecting them to show him, and then when they show the cop who's supposedly using his voice, it's like, that isn't him. Who is that? It's some other guy, and it was all ADR. I like this sound he made. Like a cheap.
That's awesome.
That's pretty good. It's the best work Al Pacino ever did. Let's see. Oh, more Charles Durning.
Son of a bitch, Castro is shitting all over us.
Son of a bitch. He was also in Dog Day Afternoon, I think. He was like the mayor or something, or police chief. Can't remember. That movie's amazing. I don't know when.
So good.
It's such a good movie. All right, here's F. Murray Abraham. And kind of unrecognizable in the voice department. Here you go.
Don't you think we could have got some other space cadet to hit Rebecca cheaper, to $50?
I mean, he was.
I caught Space Cadet. That was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Were there no Cuban actors like working in Hollywood in the early 80s?
Maybe not.
Well,
Not,
they were all
probably not
offended
enough.
by Belzer's favorite Cuban, Ricky
yeah.
Ricardo.
Freaking Belzer, dude. We didn't even mention this yet, but Richard Belzer's showing up.
That's the
Weird.
comic, yeah.
Weird. I guess he was
You know,
in
my
every.
favorite Cuban, Ricky Ricardo.
That guy would go on to be, if you needed a comedian to either act or be a background comedian in your mob movie or television show, just call Richard Belzer. So weird.
It was really weird.
What a weird legacy. All right, here's snorting F. Murray Abraham. All right, that's him snorting.
I just want to be really, really clear. I'm not saying F. Murray Abraham was bad in this movie. I am saying it was noticeable. Like it doesn't ruin the movie. It's just like, oh, he is not a Cuban, like every time.
Yeah. Also, I mean, what do we know? I feel like he's kind of unknown at this point. Like we don't have Mozart yet. That's another year or two away. Like I think F. Murray Abraham's star hadn't quite gotten to the respect it was about to. So
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was him until this watching. I've watched this 6 times. I'm like, who the hell's
Yeah,
that?
I didn't know he was in this, and obviously first time viewing it, but I had no idea he was in it
Yeah.
until he was in it.
Now he's hanging helicopter style. All right, here's a machine gun thing.
You know how to handle a machine gun.
I hope so. I don't know. Do you know how to do it? Here's some Loja.
Not to mention, of course, the nice job you did for me. The carne son of a bitch of me or a
Well,
baby.
you don't have to mention that. That was fun.
There you go. Nice.
You don't have to mention
You don't
that.
have to mention it. Michelle Pfeiffer getting her words in.
You know, Frank, if anyone ever wanted to assassinate you, you wouldn't be too hard to find.
She's just so like.
Is every scene filmed in a bathroom?
I was gonna say that is a very echoey room they're in.
I was really hoping that was foreshadowing, but that's not really how he went down. Mm-mm.
No.
Got a question for Ibbot. Is this a real song or not? You ready? Here comes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
And you know who it is? Oh, it's gonna break your heart when I tell you who that is.
Who is it?
Is it hard?
That's Debbie Harry in Blondie.
Yes.
Oh, that
Nice.
sucks because I love Debbie Harry and Blondie, but that song is bad.
Mid. Like
They
it
can't
was
all
that
be
time
winners.
after Eat to the Beat and Island of Lost Souls and kind of the run of hits. There was like a little dry period, and then she came back with Maria, and it was like, all right, all is forgiven, Debbie Harry, you're awesome again.
Everyone has a dip, right? It's fine.
Yep. Exactly.
What does this mean?
He's a real hunter.
I don't know what that was about.
It's like a cake eater.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a callback to last week,
Yeah, I was gonna
folks.
say, nice callback. All right, here's when he gets a few drinks in him, he's pretty crazy.
Don't underestimate
The other guy's greed.
All right, Logia, calm down,
It's
buddy.
number one on your 3 simple rules. Yeah.
He is.
For being
Yeah,
a trouble lord.
if we had what grossed me out the most, it would have been
Nah.
how close he was to me in the freaking booth.
Oh, he is just spraying and saying right up to your face.
He's giving you the news and the weather.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in ages. I used to love that phrase. I used to think it was so original to say it to people who were like spitting on you. And now I realize that everybody was saying it back then. I don't know why I thought it was cool. All right, here's Don't Get High on Your Own Supply.
Don't get high on your own supply.
Thanks, Catwoman. We appreciate it.
Na, 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 na.
You know what?
Yeah.
A lot of rappers have ruined those lines, like because I've heard it so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't. The line doesn't mean anything to me now when I hear it.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think of a song. Don't get high on your own supply. Well, it rhymes real good. That's
It does. It runs really well.
it's because of the rhyming. You know, you can make any kind of song out of it.
The rhyming's is important. And
Yeah.
The song, by the way, is "Dope Man" by NWA.
Oh, all right. He says that in there.
Yes.
Okay. I like it. Did they sing it in Funky Cold Medina? Because that feels like a thing I could get high on. No.
You just get drunk on Funky Cold Medina.
That's true. It's a drink.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This made me laugh. I don't know if it was improv, but it made me laugh.
What's your name?
Hancock.
Hancock? You sound like a bird.
I expected like a dirty joke, like some kind of cock joke.
Hancock,
Yeah.
right?
And he says, "It sounded like a bird," and I laughed. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even understand his Hancock. I was like, what? Tank Puff? What?
Right. Is that a bird?
I can hear you over this horrible disco music.
You got to put your John Tank Puff right here on the dotted line, and
That's right.
that's amazing. All right, here's Once a Bum, Always a Bum.
He was a bum then, and he's a bum now.
It's mom getting all worked up.
But I threw money at you, Mama.
It's like, I know, but I was only 4 years old when you were born. Here's something about balls. I don't remember what this is.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
Well, he lied all the time, though. So,
And my word is balls, actually, which is really ironic.
I'll bet that sounded really cool 40 years ago. I'll bet it was a really cool line.
very poetic then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're probably
my
right.
Word and my word are my balls.
My
No,
word
that's
are
not
my
it.
balls. Wait.
Let's shake on it. No.
No, wait. Those are my balls.
Not my hands.
Those are my balls. Take It Easy is, I only recorded one of these, but just imagine this, but then almost as many as the F-bomb.
Take it easy.
There's a lot of that. Just take it easy.
Take it easy.
All right. Yelling about Sosa.
Maybe you and Sosa know something I don't know.
All right. Calm down.
Oh,
buddy.
you know something I don't know.
Mm.
No?
Hey, this is what Bert says sometimes on Sesame Street.
Looking good, honey.
Looking good, Ernie. Looking good. Dunaway, you'll like this one?
Cockroach.
Cockroach. Cockroach. He meant sloppy. He said slobby.
We're getting sloppy.
Slobby. We're getting slobby. We're getting slobby.
I like that. I'm keeping that one.
The bubblehead thing from earlier.
How would you know, bubblehead?
He was rude to her.
Bubblehead.
That was his
Well,
wife.
and she was rude back. And at some point, I'm just like, shut up.
Yeah.
To both of them.
Mhm.
Like, I need mom and dad to shut up.
Yeah, they
This
were
is enough.
They were. That would have driven me crazy if I was
Manny?
Manny, yeah, hanging around them, and
Having
you're
to
in
sit
the
through all that all
yeah,
the time.
you're in the bathroom. She's getting ready. He's in
stand.
the tub. He's watching news. He's trying to just get business done. What a shitty deal he ended up getting in the end. All he wanted was
Junior
his sister.
partner.
Yeah. Here's your what?
Head up your cooler.
What's your kulu?
Up your-
Your culo is your butt.
Is that your butt? Okay.
Head up your cooler.
All right. I'd never heard
Your
it,
butt.
so that makes
I had
sense.
to sprinkle in a couple words from the from non-Italian language into this thing.
That's right. Here's some angry acting.
Come here! Help! Help me! I was kidding!
All right. That is some Al Pacino shit right there, dude.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
He like phases into his natural stuff every now and then.
Yeah. Like it's just
I was half the man I was to take a flamethrower to this place.
Yeah, makes you want to. It did make me want to see Heat again because I'm always in the mood for Heat. Heat's so good.
I always want to see after a movie like this. I just can't wait to watch Heat again.
Yep.
And then when I watch Heat, I'm like, and I'm going to watch Miami Vice. So
Yeah.
it comes full circle.
Hell yeah.
Well, how do you have the time?
Me and Randy have an agreement on that Miami Vice movie. I like it a lot more than most people.
Yeah. And by the way, I have the time because I have a day job. And so I do my day job, and then all the extra time I watch movies.
I just watch me. Yeah, this is what you like to do.
No.
Nothing wrong with that.
Don't quit your day job.
Yep. Oh, I know.
Here's something about a bum.
Up the ass.
Oh.
Up the ass.
That was not the bum.
Up the ass.
I don't remember who's even saying this. Hold on.
Up the ass.
Who is that?
Up the ass.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know either, but it's great.
It's Sosa, I think. When he was getting irritated. Yeah.
Up the ass.
That's when he was somebody was up his ass.
I'm gonna send my ninjas your way right now.
Yeah.
Sosa, yes. No, Tony, you can't do that. They found what was under the car, Tony. Now our friend has got security up the ass.
Up the ass.
Up the ass.
Up the ass.
It's starting to sound weird if I play it more. All right, here's a terrible snorting sound.
That's
terrible. Yeah.
It's like an elephant blowing something out of its trunk.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like a balloon that's
Or a trumpet.
Yeah. Oh, I've had too much cabbage. All right. Here's here's another big one. Jeez Louise.
That was the same one.
No, different one. 3 different ones.
Was it?
Yeah, I'll do them back to back.
Play the first one and then the first one in that second clip.
All right, here you go. First one. Second one. Has music in it. Maybe they reused it.
I was gonna say they reused it and just put music behind it the second time. It's like they captured a really good snort sound and said, let's just use this for the rest of the movie. Anytime somebody snorts something.
Yeah, it's always him too. He had the worst snorts. Here's a great thump and scream. I like that.
Ooh, that is good.
It's when those guys, the ninjas, were attacking from Colombia. And then finally, this line that I suppose we couldn't avoid.
Say hello to my little friend.
All right, there it is. Can't say we didn't do it, everybody.
Well, I'm just glad that didn't come up during a prom date.
Oh my lord.
A million gangster rappers think.
Yep. Oh yeah. All of 90s rap gives you their thanks. Let's move on to this sound or the films. What am I trying to say? The thing.
The
checklist.
Sound grade?
Sure. Holy shit, the checklist. This is too long? Check. Is this over? Check. Don't forget the Run P app. Check. All right, there you go. People still use that? You guys still use the Run P app when you?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
That thing is amazing.
It still works.
Yeah.
Speaking of like scenes, extra scenes. Does anybody have a favorite? Like a scene in this movie that you just can't believe was so good? Anybody?
Like good, not memorable just because it's shocking or something, but because it was good.
It's got a lot of extra crap, this movie. You could trim it down to 90 minutes, but there's a lot of like just stuff. And I'm just curious if anybody has.
The thing I can't stop thinking about is some of the visual commentary at the very end where Tony kills the one assassin who killed his sister, and he ends up just laying face down in the water.
Tucked over into the swimming pool, yeah.
Right. And then a few minutes later, Tony's in the same position. Just
on
as
the
dead
inside.
On the inside, and they pull up over The World Is Yours. I love that little globe and stuff. So that visually, that storytelling was really good.
Probably that whole final scene for me, just the assault on the mansion and him trying to defend himself and taking bullets.
Film that very last scene.
Allegedly, this is in the trivia.
Oh,
That
really?
Spielberg was visiting the set, and they were like, "Hey, get behind the camera and film the scene." And he did.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they were friends. That whole core group of
Yeah,
De Palma, him, Scorsese, and all them. It wouldn't surprise me, but it's really memorable. I mean, there's a reason why it's the thing everyone thinks of when they think of this movie. So yeah, for me that was it. But do you have something that jumped out at you and like?
I mean, that ending scene for me as well. I can't think of any scene in here that isn't just one of the biggies, right? Like the visiting his mom and Gina in the house, the scene with Logia, shoot that piece of shit. that whole interaction between them.
Yeah.
Shoot that piece of shit. Yeah. Shoot that piece of shit.
It's so good. Yeah, that whole scene's really good. And you know what else? I think the assassin scene, even though it goes on a little long, is a great lead up to when the bullets start to fly and how he shoots their knees out to get out of there.
Oh, that's so good.
That was all pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
But
all
it's
good.
not, I can't think of a scene that's not just one of the big ones that I think is really good in there, which means I think that there's a lot of extra scenes in there they probably could have trimmed out.
But I love those little scenes. So I'm going to say collectively, there's nothing remarkable to be mentioned about all the little in-between scenes. You know how I'm about long movies. And I was fine with it because there was such a reflection of what was going on at the time. And it was, even the scenes at the top where they're showing like, I guess, newsreel footage or people capture footage of the refugees coming to America.
Yeah.
All that stuff seemed to fit.
Yeah, that all had a nice had that feel of authenticity to it. I like that.
Yeah.
stuff.
For me, the thing that's going to last, I hope, that I never saw coming was the little scene after Tony Montana kills Frank and Mel Bernstein, right? Because that's a big deal.
Mhm.
That whole, it's a slow burn, that whole scene, and he's just killed these guys, and he's collecting Manny, and they're gonna leave, and Manny goes, "What about Ernie?" And the camera turns to some guy just standing there, and Tony Montana goes, "You want a job, Ernie?"
Yeah, Ernie's great.
Ernie is, you could just see the relief.
Oh no, it was an unbelievable bit of acting because he also takes a drink after that. And he's so shaky and so like I bought that dude's story big time. He was great.
It doesn't need to be in the movie, but it's so freaking funny.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this movie's actually very good. It deserves all of its credits.
Yeah, I like that part a lot. All right, let's get to the Star Trek connections. Got to be one or two, maybe.
Oh my God, yes. I'm gonna just name them all and then give you my favorite.
Do it.
So Michael Rugas, who was Monsignor, F. Murray Abraham, who was Omar, Greg Henry, who was Charles Goodson, Gino Silva, who was the Skull, Harris Yulin, who was Bernstein, Amelia Crowe, who was Woman at Babylon Club, and then Mark Margolis, who was Shadow. We've talked a lot before about F. Murray Abraham in Star Trek Insurrection. Greg Henry was also in Star Trek Insurrection, but I want to give props to Mark Margolis because, you think of him as Tio Salamanca from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and he's been in like every Darren Aronofsky movie. But before that, he was in Star Trek: The Next Generation, season 3, episode 4, A Matter of Perspective. So this is he's an alien scientist who dies, and his wife accuses, Space Cad William Riker of seducing her and killing her husband.
Cad.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, but we all know that Riker didn't do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he did
maybe.
her, but he didn't do it,
Yeah.
And it's just like such an awesome episode. And there's Tio Salamanca right in the middle of it.
I did not know that. I need to see that.
Either.
What season is that in?
Season 3, episode 14. It's called A Matter of Perspective.
I have issues to want to see.
And it's
that.
it's one of the the first big Data is Sherlock Holmes episodes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Where you take
those are fun.
Dr. Pulaski gets taken or whatever the deal is. Yeah.
Data tries to figure it all out by reconstructing the whole potential crime.
Sure.
I'm Data. I'm smart. I'm a computer.
I'm a smart computer feller.
This is one of the highest count of A-list or whatever you want to call them actors that are Star Trek connections that we've ever had.
Does feel like a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
Well, nicely done. I'd give it for a soundtrack grade. I'd give it an M for meh. I didn't think it was that great. I thought some of the synth stuff was all right and time appropriate.
Giorgio Roeder.
Yeah. But anytime they tried to do something popular, and the funny thing is they're in these discotheques, but they're playing music that is clearly post-disco. It's like, like whatever that weird Blondie thing was.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right. And they dance. I can't watch them dance, dude.
Oh, I know. It's so, well, because typically I think during those kinds of shots, the actors aren't hearing the music you're hearing.
Right.
And so they always just seem like really awkwardly out of sync and not even with each other and with music. And it's just all really, really bad.
Yeah. The way Michelle Pfeiffer's holding her arms up and then
Yeah,
snapping.
like she's wading through sewage.
Yeah.
It was the dance of the time. It was the dance of our people.
Was it the dance of our people? The 80s people? Okay.
Not my
Yeah.
people.
Not my people.
Not my
either.
people.
Yeah.
People were hip.
These were not my
Okay,
people. Cocaine. All right.
Cocaine.
Nicely done. Let's get to the social media post. This is where, in 280 characters or less, each of you describes this film. And I think this time we'd like to start with Randy.
Scarface. It doesn't make sense that a maniac could rise so far and fast like that. The story rests on so much big luck, with plot holes through which you could truck. Cocaine should have made for much crappin'. I think I can explain what happened. He died in that chainsaw shower scene, and everything else was just a dream.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's a big rhyme in this time. Big rhyme Randy. That's what we got going on this week.
Big Rhyme Randy.
Let's move down the table to Brian Dunaway.
Oh, Scarface like snorting crushed up baby laxatives for 3 hours. Say hello to my little friend. The toilet my sister kissed a guy on. Hashtag Pacina poop.
Man, the idea of like making out and doing it in a bathroom stall, I'm sorry. It's just never on my menu. Not once.
No.
Forget it.
Well, and like I just referred to, supposedly cocaine should make you poop a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Because it like speeds up your digestion or something.
It does. It can. Enough. If you abuse it long enough, that's a thing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it messes up your guts. Who was it?
More reason I don't want to take that stuff.
Who's Tobias Fumke?
Cross, David Cross.
David Cross said on stage once that all the drugs he used to do, he was saying he hadn't had a normal poo in like 12 years.
Here's something they don't tell you, boys and girls, when they give you the drugs.
That's
You'll
right.
never shit again, right?
Yeah, and I think it's especially bad with like stimulants of any kind, like too much Adderall, too much caffeine. Really, if you did a lot, like you're doing monster drinks all day, all night, you're probably gonna shit funny for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's swing that mic right back over here to Brian Ibbett.
Sure. Scarface. In this country, you got to make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power. Then when you get the power, then you get the women. Then when you get the women, you get your face on movie posters on the walls of every college student's dorm. Then when you get the movie posters, you get the rap songs inspired by you. Then you get the hooah!
Yeah. I was hoping it would end with that. Well
when
done.
you get the tongue licking thing.
Yeah. Scent of a cocaine woman.
Like a lizard.
It's another thing in this movie where you're just like, did they think that was funny or cool, or I just can't.
I don't think there was ever a time in anyone's life. I'm not kidding when I say this. There's never been a decade or a time or a year when somebody could walk up to somebody else at a pool, and their opening move is to go in their face and have that work out.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That never has been a thing.
I didn't like you before, but now I think I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
right.
Now I'd like to go on a date with you and see where this goes. Like, no,
Your tongue skills are nice.
he's like a lizard.
Like a lizard.
Amazing.
Well,
All right.
he ends up getting Tony's sister later, so it must have.
Yeah, but not for long, though. Jeez.
Yeah,
There's a payback.
Yeah, that didn't work out real good for him. Although the face, I got to say, the face Al Pacino makes when he realizes his sister's there and he slowly turns, blinks, and looks at his friend is one of the coolest stares in the history of movies. It's real good. Because you just know right then. It's like, well, we already know he can't control himself when it comes to his sister. He is going to kill his best friend.
Yeah.
And he'll regret it. And he's full of cocaine. Or, I'm sorry, full of baby laxative, but everything will be fine. All right.
Baby laxatives. That's great. Name.
That sounds like a great brand name. They should do it.
Yeah.
Let's get to alternate titles. These were just handed to me. Where's my... There it is. Just handed to me. Hold on. Foley work needed. All right, here they are. First up, it was almost called Take It Easy, the Eagles story, but that was confusing. So they didn't go with that. By the way, I learned something about music this week that I didn't even have to ask Brian about. Usually I do. I learned that Take It Easy was the first single ever released by the Eagles. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That was news to me.
And partially and completed by Jackson Brown, who you hear doing the backing vocals in that thing. Fry couldn't complete it on his own. or Henley. Maybe it was Henley. Couldn't
Oh, it was
complete
Glenn
on his
Fry.
own.
Was it
It was Fry.
Yeah, they
And,
talk about this in the documentary.
Yeah, and basically is like, I've got this couplet I can't figure out, and Jackson Brown says, "Oh, why don't you do Loosen My Load" or something like that, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah, Glenn Fry must have been on some cocaine because, like, he was
I think so.
working. He would go into the studio and just work for 14 hours straight every day, 7 days a week.
Isn't that why
Crazy
they broke
man.
up for that long period of time? Is there was one of them
Because
was
he
doing
wanted
drugs?
everyone else to work on that level. Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah.
at least that's again just what we see in the documentary.
He
I
did
don't
come
know.
back though and do. They did some reunion stuff, didn't they, or something?
Correct.
Concerts or something before he died. I guess.
And if you go to Winslow, Arizona, you'll find a mural that looks like the reflection in a bunch of windows of a flatbed Ford with a girl driving it in front of a bronze statue.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
I just
like
looked
that.
it up. I'm only 7 hours away from Winslow, Arizona.
Oh, really? There you go. Go take pictures because I've never seen this thing.
Spend the rest of the day driving over there.
Is there either pre-song or post-song a Hotel California that you can stay at and it's like themed or anything? Or do we know if that's a thing?
Probably.
You mean the place where the crazy people go? That's a bad idea.
Well, I want to go there and I want to see why I can come anytime but never leave. I want to understand that
Because it's
concept.
an insane asylum.
To me, it was always a sister song to The Shining. It just felt like those things went together.
It does feel like the right, like the Stanley or the Overlook, I guess it would be.
Yeah, just for whatever reason, as a kid growing up, those two things were inseparable. I think in my own head, I had them connected, and maybe in a small part, I still do.
You know, if I go to Winslow via Phoenix, I can get a Whataburger, and that's something I always want.
I would eat that, no problem. Oh, I forgot. Our second alternate title was "The Wild and Wonderful Adventures of Catwoman and Jack Kevorkian." Wow.
Jesus. Wow.
I forgot he was Jack Kevorkian. I was looking up old roles of his, and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, did anyone see that?
I forgot about that.
It's like 06 or something. I never saw it.
Never saw it, but
He was Jack. Killing people for good? I don't know. Whatever. Whatever that was.
You're welcome.
Let's get to some emails, one in particular. And we got one email and we got a call today. We'll start with the email. This is from Nate. Filmsack@gmail.com is where he sent this. Hello there, Sackers. I wanted to give you insight into the hockey arenas used in the Mighty Ducks. I know you talked about how crazy professional they looked and that there was no way this was realistic. Well, I grew up in northern suburbs of Minneapolis where most of the hockey action was filmed. Those arenas are all high school arenas, and most schools had their own rink. Each one of these looked exactly the same before and after filming the movies. It's Minnesota, of course, and the high schools are going to have very sweet hockey arenas. I was in junior high during the filming of the movie and had a couple of friends that actually skated for opposing teams. It was kind of a big deal at the time, if I remember correctly. Thanks for all the great entertainment over the years, Nate. So, you forget
sense.
some cities are hardcore hockey cities, and
Yeah.
they go nuts on the local kid level, mid-level, NHL level. Like, they're all in. They're like Canadians sometimes down here. Thanks, Nate, for the insight. We also got a phone call from, don't know who. I guess he'll tell us. But, it's Mike from California. And he wants to talk about Robin Hood, so we'll let him.
Hi, this is for Film Sack. It's Michael from Edmonton, and I just need to reach
Canada,
out to you guys, Scott, Brian, and Randy, and just let you know, I know you all be discounting the Russell Crowe Robin Hood movie, but, as we all know, the director's cuts are always better for these films. You guys got to give it a chance, man. The music's phenomenal. The acting's really good. Cinematography is phenomenal. It's just, is it a real representation? Absolutely not. But it's a good romp, good time, and an adventure. So, cheers from Canada. Also, Amanda says hi from Vegas. Bye.
All right, cool.
Okay. I just want to immediately say, trust me, bro. This is a movie that we want to sack. We just need it to get onto streaming where we can see it. I have been tracking this thing for a long time. Ridley Scott made a meh movie. We're all in.
Yeah.
We're all in. Trust me.
Yeah, why not? Besides, his director's cuts are usually great. Like, I still say Kingdom of Men is one of the greatest films ever made, but only the director's cut. The theatrical is hot garbage.
Heaven?
Or Kingdom of Heaven, what I say, of Men?
Kingdom of Men, yeah.
Yeah.
Children of
Heaven. I'm mixing all my movies up. That's the one. And it's so good in its extended form. If you go to the theater one or see the theater one, you'll be like, what is Scott talking about? This is actually a bad movie. but he's somehow his director's
redeemed
cuts.
in the director's
Maybe Napoleon for all the shit it got last year. Maybe there's a cut of that's going to blow our minds. I don't know.
Maybe the director's cut is more factually accurate. Maybe.
Yeah, I do look forward. I'm really looking forward to Gladiator 2 for lots of reasons, but also it's his thing to screw up. So I hope he doesn't screw it up. You know, I mean we got a trailer or a teaser for that now, and it looks good. Looks real good. All right. That was a phone call that came to 801-471-0462. Please keep those coming. We love hearing from you guys. You can also text that self-same line. Want to welcome 2 brand new patrons this week to our Patreon. Patreon.com/filmsack. We want to welcome Bradley Dexter and Ron. Simply Ron is his name.
Hi, Ron.
I wish it was Simply Ron, but it's just Ron.
Simply Ron. Yeah.
These guys know what it's like to get cool art in the mail based on film stuff. They get no commercials ever. They get monthly host specials, pre-show content every week, many, many reasons to sign up, and really none not to. So go check it out at patreon.com/filmsack and support your favorite creators now. Our next movie will not be a movie. It'll be a roundtable about direct-to-home video. Oh,
yeah.
Jafar, come on.
Yeah,
if you do need a long time to prepare, our next movie is going to be RoboCop 3.
I can't wait for that.
Watch it twice.
PG-13, garbage, terrible. Can't wait. Let's do it. Nothing like the original piece of shit 3.
Anybody come back for 3? Like, do we get?
It is definitely
RoboCop.
Peter Weller's back?
No, it is not Peter Weller. Yeah,
just
the character.
Okay, all right, good enough.
Peter Weller was out, and
I was actually, when we were making this list for the summer, I was actually shocked. Like, I'm like, oh, RoboCop 3 is streaming. We need to watch that. It's on Max, and I clicked into Max. I'm like, it's PG-13. What?
Yeah.
How is this possible?
It's a guy who looks a lot like him. It's Robert John Burke, and he looked a lot like that dude. So he's there. He's from Thinner, and
okay, that guy.
Nice.
You've seen that guy. Anyway, he's a decent.
And if you go to the bargain bin at your local Best Buy, you can buy that for $1.
Yeah, you sure can. Is this still? This wasn't still written by Frank Miller. No, Frank Miller's still on the credits. So I don't know.
Probably just for creators
character.
created by. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Nancy Allen's back as Officer Ann Lewis. I take that back.
There we go. All right.
That's right. That's her anchor.
She was happy to be there. That's fine.
She's the Bert of this.
CCH Pounder's on here. That's cool. I like her.
Excellent.
Oh, and Stephen Root. That must be early Stephen Root.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just remember this was right around the time that there was a cartoon on TV for RoboCop, and so when they said PG-13, I went, well, yeah, of course they're trying to market this to kids now. It's no longer, this edgy, dark.
And that was the same production company that made Rambo, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Seems like it.
Also, 93. Wow, I thought it was older than that. That's the year. That's Jurassic Park year. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, more on that 2 weeks from now. But next week, we're going to do that roundtable. Why? Because Scott's out of town. All right. My wife's taking me somewhere for my birthday. And because of that, we got to get something in. We don't like leaving you guys hanging. Except that one guy who complains about roundtables.
Leave him hanging.
I don't mind leaving him hanging. That's fine. He's the only one. Everyone else tells us how much they like those, and he's the only one that dissents.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's next week. Filmsack.com is our website. You can find it easily by just typing that into your favorite web browser. Also, filmsack@gmail.com. And again, our text line and voicemail line is 801-471-0462. Leave us reviews wherever you get your podcasts. That'll do it for us. For me, for Brian, and for Randy.
The world is yours.
We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Say good night to the bad guy.
Say good night.
To the bad guy.